Farm Bureau is proud to present this amazing state tournament and celebrate the accomplishments of Iowa's student athletes. To the Iowa Farm Bureau, this is more than just a sport. It's hometown pride, it's hopes and dreams, it's our future leaders, it's a reason to do more and be more. And it's that farm strong spirit that can only be found in Iowa. Congratulations to the student athletes and coaches on a successful year, and remember, today's successes are just the beginning of tomorrow's achievements.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. That old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, you come here, you'll believe it. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Frank, when you think Fairway, you think fresh. Is that the winning culture you've tried to create?
Penelope Pineapple, what an unbelievable produce performance. How does your team stay so fresh?
Sunkissed Orange. Is it true Fairway has offered the freshest produce in town since 1938?
What can I say? Our produce is so fresh, we're speechless.
Good evening and welcome to the Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau. Dar Danielson courtside along with Laura Leonard here as we fill out the first half of the 3A bracket tonight. Number 4 seed Mount Vernon taking on number 5 seed Harlan. They'll meet the top seed Estherville Lincoln Central, which advanced with the 61-47 matchup there. Things got that shot clock made that end of that game just a little bit interesting, Laura.
You know, I think it does. I think the shot clock, since they have put it in, has changed the game a little bit for high school basketball. I like that change, and I like the change on the foul situation as well that they put in this year. It changes how you approach a game at the end.
And you got a couple teams here. Harlan's been a perennial. Mount Vernon, just a few years ago, they won one game.
Yeah.
Got a new coach in. They've turned it around, and here they're at the state tournament.
Yeah, Nate Sanderson, who is the head coach at Mount Vernon, has done a really nice job. He knows all about the state tournament, won a couple of titles at Springville, and has taken his talents now to Mount Vernon, turned that program around in a hurry, and they are here at the state tournament playing for a championship.
Well, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll get a little bit deeper in today's game with our Seeds for Success presented by Channel Seeds. We'll also have your starting lineup as we're getting set for another 3A quarterfinal here at the Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
This is our son, Sebastian. In 2021, he took half a pill he didn't know was counterfeit.
That tiny pill contained enough fentanyl to kill him almost instantly. Kids buy them on social media and share them with their friends, not realizing how dangerous they are.
Please talk to your kids about not taking anything that's not directly prescribed to them.
Our child will never get to grow up, but we want yours to be able to.
In Iowa, we all play by the same rules. Hard work pays off, practice makes perfect, success is something you earn, and teamwork helps us all be winners. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics, because on our team and on yours, what we bring to the table is what brings us all together. Learn more about our commitment to Iowa at iowapork.org.
When you choose Delta Dental of Iowa, you set a chain of good in motion, because we invest in your community. So whether you get your plan at work or purchase it through us, you get more than great dental and vision insurance. You make a difference for others. Choose Delta Dental for your smile, for your health, and for your community.
You're watching the Girls Union Digital Network powered by Mid-American Energy at the Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau here. Getting ready for a 3A quarterfinal, Harlan Cyclones and the Mount Vernon Mustangs. Let's take a look at their road to state and how these two teams got here. For Harlan, 20-3, they won Region 7, defeating Cherokee. Their field goal percentage, 4th in 3A, the assists, 4th in 3A. Aubrey Suiso, 14.5 points, 4.4 assists, and Erica Rust, 14 points. For Mount Vernon, 21-3, Region 1 champ, defeated Minneapolis. 46.4% free throw, that's our field goal percentage, that's the best in 3A, and 15.8%, 15.8 assists. So both these teams high up there in the assist. Chloe Meester, the one to be watching, 13.5 points here. So you see some similarities in the numbers a little bit here, Laura.
Yeah, and that's I think why they're the 4 and 5 seed. We know we're going to get a good game because they're very similar types of teams. They will score, they score efficiently, but they also share the basketball, and that's what you want to do. You want to have a team that shares the basketball. It's not just one player that is scoring all the points. These two teams do that very well. One thing that Mount Vernon does very well is play defense. They will get up pressure.
Let's now talk about our Seeds for Success, brought to you by Channel. The Kant's Channel seed brand is here to help farmers like you up your game and rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. And let's talk about our Seeds to Success here, Laura.
Yeah, for Harlan, they need to stay composed versus the pressure. They are going to get three-quarter court pressure. They're going to get half-court pressure. They're going to get pressure all over. You're going to see traps. Got to stay composed, can't turn it over, and then limit the second chance points. Got to box out, can't give up a lot of offensive rebounds. And then for Mount Vernon, value the possessions. You can't turn it over and give Harlan extra possessions and an opportunity to score more points, and then you're going to get up and pressure the ball, and that's what they do so well. They've got a top two part of their defense that plays very hard and are very active and very quick with good hands.
All right, Laura Leonard with our Seeds for Success. We're going to take our final break, and we'll be back to tip it up and get this quarterfinal in Class 3A at the Girls State Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Here at the Girls State Basketball Tournament, presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau and the Girls Union Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. Dar Danielson, Laura Leonard, as we wind down to the start of this game. And just on paper, you look at, the scoring pretty well balanced between both these teams, Laura. And again, you mentioned 4 and 5 seed, they're pretty similar. And I always like these 4-5 games because you always know, most of the time I've done them, they've been pretty tight games.
Yeah, and we saw that, I think, in the 5A game as well, as they were tight, they were close back and forth, and they're evenly matched, and you're right. You look at them on paper, the points per game, the defensive average, the field goal percentage, all very similar. So I think we're going to see a game that is, with the defenses in both of these teams, maybe not as high scoring as we thought, but I think it's going to be very tight.
It's cliche to say the little things, but that extra rebound or turnover or, block out, those are things that in a tight game like that can really switch it for you.
An extra loose ball that you dive for. I mean, and these players know they're at the state tournament. They've got to do everything they need to do to advance. It's survive and advance right now, and there's no tomorrow if you lose. So you got to play hard to win. You mentioned the one big change this year is the 5 foul. You go to the college rules. That has during the regular season, I didn't see that come into play quite so much. I did, I guess, with the Valley Ankeny with the sub-state game to get here. But for the most part, I didn't see a lot of teams get in the bonus. But here it could be a big factor late in the game because you get to 5 and it's an automatic 2. Well, if you can foul maybe a person who isn't as great a foul shooter, that helps. But if you're fouling the top person who they like to get the ball in their hands, you get an automatic 2 shots. Right, and that's, those strategy's a little bit different than it has been in the past of how you handle those situations late in the game. Now we're ready for our PA announcer, Joe Harlan. We'll go to him in just a second here, and we'll get the preliminaries underway with the starting lineups, our sportsmanship representatives here for these two teams. Harlan, the number 5 seed, 20-3. Mount Vernon, the number 4 seed, 21-3 on the season. And the Harlan pep band playing now. That's one thing I like about state tournament too. You get pep bands down here for a lot of the schools. And that's one of the best parts. That and the halftime, the dance teams that get to participate. Everybody gets to get involved here with it.
Girls State Basketball quarterfinal matchup featuring the Harlan Cyclones and the Mount Vernon Mustangs. Fans, tradition is an important part of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union's storied history. Because our past is an integral part of what we do today, we ask that everyone in attendance please join in a round of applause to show our appreciation to all the women who have participated in high school athletics in Iowa. Once an Iowa girl, always an Iowa girl! Fans, at this time, the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union and the Iowa Farm Bureau would like to recognize the outstanding sportsmanship shown by Harlan High School and Mount Vernon High School. In recognition of the importance of good sportsmanship, each state qualifying school was asked to nominate a spectator who represents their school and community in a sportsmanlike manner. Claire Pellett from Atlantic, a member of the IGHSAU Student Athlete Advisory Committee, will present each nominee with a certificate of recognition and a $250 check payable to their school scholarship fund. Please join us in honoring these individuals whose decorum and respect for others serves as a model for all spectators attending interscholastic events. From Harlan High School, Sam Wilwarding. And from Mount Vernon High School, Kirk Wishmeyer. The Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union promotes good sportsmanship by participants, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants, officials, and spectators in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, sexist, or abusive comments or intimidating actions directed at officials, participants, coaches, team representatives, or event personnel will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal. We thank you for your cooperation and invite you to enjoy the game. Fans, it's now time to introduce the players in tonight's quarterfinal matchup. First, the non-starters for the Harlan Cyclones. Number 3, Kara Kenkel. Number 5, Lauren Schmitz. Number 21, Grace Albertson. Number 25, Brinley Van Bala. Number 33, Addison Wicks. Number 35, Kate Kesters. And number 43, Kensley Bruck. The assistant coaches for Harlan are Mark Cohorst and Sam Brummer. Now let's meet the non-starters for the Mount Vernon Mustangs. Number 3, Olivia Truitt. Number 4, Lillian Wishmeyer. Number 5, Erin Jackson. Number 14, Lucy Wishmeyer. Number 21, Sophia Meester. Number 22, Josie Niehaus. Number 25, Brinley Rasmussen. And number 35, Riley Rasmussen. The assistant coaches for Mount Vernon are Ben Kanake, Lori Moss, Jason Pershing, and Susan Orbis. And now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for tonight's starting lineups? For Harlan at guard, a 5'6" senior, number 11, Hannah Sonderman. And for Mount Vernon at guard, a 5'8" sophomore, number 10, Courtney Frank. For Harlan at guard, a 5'7" junior, number 13, Molly Swenson. And for Mount Vernon at guard, a 5'4" sophomore, number 11, Taylor Frank. For Harlan at guard, a 5'10" junior, number 15, Aubrey Schwiezo. And for Mount Vernon at center, a 6'2" junior, number 20, Chloe Meester. For Harlan at guard, a 5'7" senior, number 23, Ava Munson. And for Mount Vernon at forward, a 6' junior, number 23, Sydney Huber. For Harlan at forward, a 6' senior, number 45, Erica Rust. And for Mount Vernon at guard, a 5'6" senior, number 25, Peyton Simpson. The head coach for Harlan is Zach Clausen, and the head coach for Mount Vernon is Nate Sanderson. The floor officials tonight are Kurt Walderbach, Ben Hauge, Jeff Soper, and the bench official is Ryan Dixon. Welcome Harlan and Mount Vernon to the 2024 Iowa Girls State Tournament.
And before we begin today's game, we'd like to once again thank the Iowa Farm Bureau, proud title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, for their support. Farm Bureau has an office located in each county across Iowa. We'd like to thank the offices. We'd like to thank the Iowa Farm Bureau for supporting the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union and the Iowa Girl. All right, ready to go here. Number 4, number 5 seed, a chance to play the number 1 seed in the semifinals. Tap controlled by Mount Vernon. Frank over to Huber, up top to Frank. That's Courtney Frank, one of the twins. She's the taller of the two. Down on the baseline to 3 by Taylor Frank.
Good ball rotation around the zone. Harlan opened up in his zone and it was recognized, so they worked the ball around. very patiently and found Frank wide open.
Yeah, I saw in the Mount Vernon coach's notes that they're used to playing a zone. They play a zone, and they're used to playing against a zone. So it'll be interesting. There's a block inside by Mount Vernon. I believe that was Huber. Now down quickly up, rattles out, no good. Rebound pulled down by Harlan. The Cyclones back the other way. Suiso, the junior, takes it up top. The 2-3 zone by Mount Vernon, you see there. There's a three, good by Molly Swenson. And we're tied up, 3 apiece.
Same kind of thing, work the ball around the zone, and then they, after the make, put on a little three-quarter court pressure.
Frank out to Frank, then passed over to Simpson. Shot no good. The ball rattled around, and it'll go back to Harlan.
Did a good job of breaking that initial pressure. Just kind of got sped up. Didn't really get into a good set offensively.
Harlan Cyclones bring it down. Lob it into the middle. Dribble back out. There's a three. Is going to miss. And the rebound to Peyton Simpson. That's Courtney Frank. They get it over for three, rattles in and out, no good for Huber, and the rebound comes off to Harlan.
Looked like they're trying to work it inside out, try to dump it inside the middle of the zone, and then kick it out to the shooters.
Looks like we'll have our first foul of the day.
I think that one was on Huber.
Huber, yep. That is the first one of the game. They rotate it over left side. Now back up top. And Munson will pull it out.
Yeah, good job of recognizing, didn't like what she saw, brought it back out and reset.
Now she penetrates the zone, kicks it for three, no good. Rebound battle for her down there. And Chloe Meester, the 6'2 junior, comes away with it.
She's got that long reach, does a great job of going up and grabbing it at its highest point. She's a volleyball player. Going to go to...
Lobbed it into her, and a little body contact, but misses a shot. Now the rebound to Harlan, and a little pressure by Taylor Frank.
They will do that. They will pressure all the way up the floor.
Monson with it now, up top. Both these teams know how to work a zone. They're doing it early. They rotate it around baseline. No good. Rebound battled for. And so far, underneath, Mount Vernon has been cleaning up all the defensive boards.
Yeah, and if they're doing a good job of boxing out. If they can't grab it themselves, they will tip it to a teammate.
Three short. Monson with the rebound, or Meester, with the rebound and putback.
There again, Meester on the boards, just that long reach. Made a nice move back to the hoop.
A little pressure again. Now they'll drop back into the 2-3 zone again. Over on the wing, looking inside. Now they rotate it baseline inside to the post and up, and almost got it around Meester there, but Russ' shot is a little short. And here comes Mount Vernon. Lob inside, found her, double team, kicks it out to Frank for three, short, rebound to Frank. That's Courtney, and three by Huber.
Now that's the offensive glass, and that's something that Harlan didn't want to do, is give up second chance points.
And they really keep their head up and look for the open player, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do a good job of, they don't put their head down at all. They're looking for a teammate, and that's where all those assists come from.
Drive to the bucket, up and good by Suiso. She's their leading scorer, and she's on the board now.
Just went into attack mode and attempted a shot from the outside, couldn't get it to go, so puts it on the floor and gets
Simpson
into the rim.
To Huber, that one's off, and couldn't quite tiptoe the baseline down there with Suiso. I think it surprised her that it came right on through and didn't hit the basket, and then she found herself on the baseline. So Mustangs windbound it on their own basket with an early 8-5 lead here. Driving, Frank pull up, good. Taylor Frank with 5 now.
Frank did a nice job, got that shoulder around the defender when she put the ball on the floor.
Harlan brings it back. Monson. Into the middle, back out for 3. Rattles down, no good. Rebound underneath. Oh, whack under the basket. Good pass under there for the bucket. As Rust found the teammate. Well, that one is up and rattles down for Huber. So they quickly answer. Keep that 5-point lead.
Huber is a nice addition to this team. Had played 2 years at Xavier and moved into the Mount Vernon area and joined the team.
And we'll have our first substitution today, an IMT Insurance substitution. Brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at imtins.com. Our substitution for Mount Vernon is Brindley Rasmussen, the 6-foot senior. She'll come in, and Mount Vernon has the ball. He had that 5-point lead. Lob it into Frank. She'll dribble right on through the baseline, kicks it to her sister. Now she tries to bounce pass it into the double team, and it's taken away, but then a travel is called there on Monson. And credit Rasmussen, she didn't give up the fight for that.
No, she didn't. And, that's a tough pass to make, trying to get it in. And
split the two defenders,
right.
Yeah. Right on the post there. They lob it out, get it out in time. Frank dribbles in, pulls up a little short jumper there by Taylor Frank. She's got 7 already here. And it's a 14-7 lead. And we got a timeout here. Fans, you can level up your game at Central College. More than half of Central students participate in intercollegiate athletics because Central allows you to pursue your passions and be more than a spectator. It's the best decision ever. Apply at central.edu.
A good timeout right here. You don't want to let this get too far out of hand in the first quarter, so you got to settle your team down and realize that you got to take care of the basketball. You can't turn it over, and you got to start hitting some shots.
Yeah, they worked the ball underneath a couple times and missed them, and just Mount Vernon's passed it around and hit their shot. Sometimes it's as simple as that, just making them drop.
That's as simple, but really it is. Just make good passes, be patient, let the openings happen, and that's what Mount Vernon has done.
So here comes Harlan. Monson throws it over for 3. Good! They heard you, Laura. Suiso did anyway. And she comes out and pops the 3.
It always seems like when a coach does call that timeout to get his team back in focus, they come out of the timeout and they run a great play.
Yeah, and that's the key to the good coaches. They know when to call the timeout, when to let them play through. Here's a 3. Back the other way. Good. By Aaron Jackson, who's snuck into the ball game on us here. Back up to a 7-point lead. And Harlan back with the ball. Monson over to Suiso, now inside. Turn around, kind of flipped it up there, Rust, and it comes off. And Harlan's still not getting many second chances at the basket.
No, they really aren't. That's one thing that Mount Vernon has done very well is one and done.
Now, I think that might have been partially blocked in there by Rust.
Yeah, I think so too. She's kind of playing the center field back there in the lane, the rim protector.
Now almost picked off, and they're going to call the foul there on Monson. Her first, team first here. There's 2 fouls called so far. Now in for Mount Vernon is Josie Niehaus. Taylor Frank will get a rest. And Courtney Frank will get it in to Huber. Again, both these teams you see playing that 2-3 zone. Rotate it back over. Up to the top. Shot clock is all off. There's a little shot left short, rebounded by Harlan. So now Harlan has a chance here at the end of the quarter to get one shot. Get it up ahead to Sonderman. Back to Suizo. Long three is off, no good, and that'll do the first quarter here. 17-10 after one in this 3A quarterfinal. We'll take a break, come back with more of the Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. That old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe it. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
Hey fans, level up your game at Central College. More than half of Central students participate in intercollegiate athletics because Central allows you to pursue your passions and be more than a spectator. It's the best decision ever. Apply at central.edu. Thoughts on that first quarter, Laura Leonard?
Yeah, there was. I mean, I think we see both of these teams settling in, playing that zone. Both offenses being patient, trying to skip it over the top. The one thing, the shots were falling for Mount Vernon, and they're doing a better job on the boards so far in that first quarter.
Well, Harlan will start the second quarter with the ball. They're in the dark uniforms. Mount Vernon in the white. Looking to go into the post down there as Sophia Meester, the freshman, is in. 5'9" freshman, maybe give him a little more size under the bucket. Throw it over the top, 10 on the shot clock. Outside to Suizo. And with 1 second to go, they get the shot up, but Munson. There's one that's not quite got to the backcourt.
That's just pure hustle right there. That's one of those 50-50 balls that we talked about.
She got to it, pushed it over. There's a three from Niehaus. And that makes the lead 10 here, 20-10. And back in for Mount Vernon are Chloe Meester and Peyton Simpson, IMT Insurance substitutions. And the rebound by Mount Vernon. Courtney Frank drives in, gets it off to Jackson. Looking in there for Meester. Now they rotate it around. Back into Frank. 15 on the shot clock. Cutting in, little runner is good by Peyton Simpson.
Boy, good ball movement and good action on the offensive side. Simpson making a nice cut to the hoop.
So that one, and there's a foul call, underneath. Chloe Meester, her first of the quarter. And her first free throw. Rust misses that one. Rust shooting 61%. And back in is Huber and Frank for Mount Vernon. Second free throw is no good. And Harlan just needs to get some points here. There's Courtney Frank. Throws it to her sister. Baseline, now gets it back out. Up top, they rotate it over. Now back to Huber. She drives in. Frank. Three-pointer. Good! That's Taylor Frank. She's got 10.
They just kept dribbling in, making that defense collapse. and then kick it back out.
Under the bucket, up, and oh, in and out. Putback is no good, blocked by Meester. Rust had a good look at it, just in and out. That's been a problem here in the first half for the Cyclones, getting those shots to fall. They rotate it over. Hubert drives in, loses it. Here comes Harlan. Looking for something to happen here. They try to get inside again, but it's picked off by Meester.
Well, you got to make a really good pass to get it over the long arms of Meester.
Yeah, a lot of length there. Meester outside. There's a three, no good. Rebound comes off to Harlan. Almost had that toe stuck down, but almost traveled with it as the pressure up the court. Suizo with it now.
Courtney Frank's not going to give up on you defensively. She's going to go after you inline to inline.
And that pressure wears on you as you're going. Now lob into the post. Turn around, blocked by Meester.
That's where Russ needs to give a little ball fake.
Yeah.
Get Meester up in the air, see if you can draw a second foul on her.
Trouble is she got a little size advantage too, so she may not take that fake, you know. There's a long three, good! Huber pops from outside. And it's an 18-point advantage here for Mount Vernon. And a 30-second timeout. And we're just seeing, as you mentioned, Laura, they're squeezing that zone in, and then they pass it around the outside, dump it in, and dump it back out. Just textbook, and I'm imagine Harlan coach saying, hey, we got to do more what they're doing, move it around a little more.
Yeah, they do have to move, try to get that defense to collapse or shift or maybe a skip pass. Ball fake gets the defense, especially if you're sitting in that 2-3 zone. Ball fakes will make the defense move, and you can come back the other way and get an open look.
Because the zone busters at three, and there's 5 of them here in this first half so far for Mount Vernon, just 2 for Harlan. And they'll bring the ball up and try to work something. They go into the elbow. Now there's the three. And that ends the scoring drought here in the second quarter for Harlan. And the putback won't go, but there'll be a foul.
Again, on the glass is Meester, doing it at both ends. That's her 6th rebound so far here in the first half.
And Meester to the free throw line, hits that one. 62% free throw shooter, her first free throw of the day. She'll get another one, and that one is right through. Lead at 17. Rotate it to the top. Now back over for three. Off, no good. Rebound battled for, and Meester taps it around and gets it back to herself.
In a lot of traffic, able to tip it to herself.
Back up top, rotate it over. There's a three. Good! Peyton Simpson hits that one, and it looked like it was flat, but it just right over the edge of that lip of the basket and in.
Yeah, Coach Sanderson said she's a very reliable three-point shooter, and we just saw it right there.
And that one is going to go off Taylor Frank, and it'll stay with Harlan. Back in for Harlan is Swenson and Erica Russ for an IMT insurance substitution. Or now you can be worry free at imtims.com. There's a three off, no good. Rebound pulled down by Russ. She backs in over Meester and misses the shot.
good move. I just think that Meester altered that shot a little bit, made her fade on it.
Yeah, she couldn't go straight up with it. Get it over to Huber. Huber now drives, kicks it outside for three. No good. And pulled down by Harlan. Suizo. She'll take it all the way down, and offensive foul.
So Meester was right there waiting for, planted the feet.
See it here again. Good under the basket camera angle there, and yeah. You can kind of see those coming sometimes when the defense is down and they're taking it right down the floor.
You know, and I think a lot of times, if as the ball handler, you're coming in and you see the defender there, pull up and shoot that little jumper. Don't take it all the way in.
Backdoor cut by Simpson is good. Yeah, just pull up and drop it in. So far, just a three-pointer for Harlan. Now steal by Taylor Frank. She goes up and good.
Well, Harlan going to take another timeout. It's starting to get away from them.
37-13, they call a timeout. It's a full timeout. You're watching the Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
At American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Back here at the Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau. 37-13, Mount Vernon over Harlan here. And Harlan called a timeout to try to talk it over. And now Harlan will have the ball, and we talked about it earlier, Laura. They just need to drop some buckets in there.
Yeah, they're getting good ball rotation, but now the defense for Mount Vernon is starting to heat up. They kind of smell a little blood in the water, and they're going to turn it up.
Courtney Frank with the steal there, and there's Sydney Huber gets the double bouncer and drops.
Very kind rim. She got the friendly bounce. It crawled over the front.
So under a minute to play, a 27-point lead here in the first half for Mount Vernon. Spin, bounce pass underneath, up, and just leaves it short, but a good putback that time by Rust. She's had trouble with Meester under there, but this time she followed her shot and got it put back in.
And a little more of that dribble penetration, attack, drawing the defense, and then it was a nice wraparound pass.
And taken away by Harlan.
Yeah, good block by Rust.
Here's Suizo. Shot clock is off. They can play for one, but that defense. Long three off, no good. Rebound, Rust backs in. And they're going to call her for the offensive foul, I believe.
And she did.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it. She pulled the rebound. She kind of wanted to make a statement.
But kind of, leaned in a little bit.
And Meester stood her ground.
2 seconds, one. They won't get the shot off. And that will end the quarter where Mount Vernon outscores them 23-5 in the quarter to take the 40-15 halftime lead. We'll take a break and we'll come back and talk about some of the stats at halftime here at the Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Slade's the place for you!
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Here at the Girls State Basketball Tournament, having some of the younger players play here at halftime. Dar Danielson, Laura Leonard, and the tournament brought to you by the Iowa Farm Bureau. And just a 23-5 second quarter, Laura. Just Mount Vernon, you mentioned it too. They got the scoring going, and then they just ratcheted up the defense. And the Frank twins up front really put the pressure on the ball handlers for Harlan.
Those two work so well together in tandem up top, and it makes it really hard for the perimeter to even get the ball inside to Russ so she can get a good look or even move in the middle. And so with those two out pressuring the guards out on top, it's made it very difficult for them to even get in any kind of rhythm offensively.
And you ought to know how to handle that shot clock, is pressure the guards so they can't get the offense going, and that shot clock is winding down on you, and that just works defensively. And then everybody else is looking to jump the pass, aren't they?
They are, and they're quick, and they anticipate very well, and they have designed their defense to kind of key off of those two players up top, the Frank sisters, and they have done a good job behind them as well. Yeah. They put the pressure on up top, and you can gamble a little bit knowing that you have a good line behind you.
Well, it's time now to take a moment to once again thank our title sponsor, Iowa Farm Bureau, for their support of the state basketball tournament. Earlier this week, the IGHSAU had the opportunity to speak with Iowa Farm Bureau President Brent Johnson, learn more about Iowa Farm Bureau's support of the girls' union and student athletes across the state.
Thanks for joining us for the 2024 Girls State Basketball Tournament. I'm Matt Hominoff with the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. We want to thank all of our partners for all the great support we get from around the state. None more important than our proud title sponsor, Iowa Farm Bureau. With me today is the president of the Iowa Farm Bureau, Brent Johnson. Thanks for joining us, Brent. Yep. Why does the Iowa Farm Bureau feel so strongly about supporting the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union and our tournament games?
Well, Matt, the Iowa Farm Bureau has been the title sponsor for the Girls Union now for 19 years. And once again, very proud to be a part of this year's state girls basketball tournament. And, you know, this tournament highlights the work ethic, teamwork, resilience, and dedication that these girls have contributed for a year's worth of dedication to their craft. And just like that same spirit, the Iowa farmers are the best in what they do across this entire country, not only in production, but also in conservation. And you put all that together, and there's a lot here to celebrate.
Yeah. Your support for the IGHSAU goes beyond youth and education. What other support does the Iowa Farm Bureau provide Iowa's youth?
Yeah. Well, Matt, here at Farm Bureau, we believe that today's youth is tomorrow's leaders, and we're proud to support them in many different ways. One of those is by our scholarship program. Every single year, we give nearly $500,000 across the entire state to those kids so that they can continue their education at a higher level. We've also partnered with the Girls Union and the Boys Association now for several years to offer concussion insurance for those student athletes who compete in sanctioned sports across the entire state so that they can do so at a high level and feel safe doing so. And that is at no cost to that student or their families. Third, we've given teachers across the state nearly $500,000 so that they can properly equip their classrooms to do their jobs better. And most recently, just last year, the Iowa Farm Bureau gave the Iowa FFA Foundation $1 million so that they can properly place ag teachers and ensure that students across the state have an exposure to agriculture and how it affects their lives every day.
Yeah, so the students participating in this year's tournament are taking home some pretty neat souvenirs. But one new item that they're taking home are the championship ball caps. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the girls who are competing at this year's tournament are actually taking home quite a bit of swag this year. Of course, we have the bag tags and the signature basketballs that the girls have been used to seeing over the years. But this year, we've added a championship ball cap so that those girls who actually win the tournament have an extra souvenir to remember that if they put their minds to it, they can accomplish anything.
Well, thanks again, Brent, for both your and everyone at Iowa Farm Bureau's support of the Iowa Girl over the years.
In Iowa, we grow corn. A lot of corn. Corn is what supports us. It feeds our livestock, it fuels our vehicles, and powers our state. It nourishes our families. A cash crop? Yeah, but it's way more than that. Corn sustains us. It's who we are. Without it, we'd just be... well, you get the picture. In Iowa, we grow corn. But the truth is, corn grows Iowa.
The thing I love about Clark is that you're never just one thing. I'm not just a student. I'm a future doctor. I'm an athlete on a history-making team. I'm a community member supporting the causes I care about. I'm a friend, a neighbor, a leader. At Clark, you can become anything. What will you be? Be you at CU.
Hey fans, official state tournament merchandise is now available online. Get out your cell phone or smartphone and scan the QR code on your screen now and visit IGHSAU.org or visit IGHSAU.org to browse and customize your merchandise to match your style. First game, I got to get back into the reading the reads here, Laura.
That's all right. Well, you know, it'll come. It'll come.
But yeah, so get your merchandise there either with the QR code that was there or the IGHSU.org. And we were talking about it, looking at these stats. You look at the rebounds, only two different, but there's 14 defensive rebounds for Mount Vernon to 9 for Harlan. So that's telling me, like we talked about, they aren't given many second chances at the basket.
No, not at all. And, you know, good job on the boards. And both teams have battled really well. The other thing that's impressive is the amount of assists that Mount Vernon has, 9 to their 15 field goals. So, again, sharing the basketball, that's what they've done all season long.
Yeah, and as far as, I mean, if you're Harlan, you got to go in and say, hey, we got to look for our shots better and just hit our shots when we get them. I know that Rust has been working hard down underneath, but that's a big task to do down there. You got to move the ball around a little more.
Yeah, and try to get her open. So you've got to move there. They're packing it in a little bit, playing tight up top, and not allowing that ball to go in. So the perimeter, again, as we talked about in the first half, they've got to move and give a ball fake or dribble penetration and kick. Got to get that defense to move somehow. And if they're being that aggressive up top, put it on the floor and try to drive by them. We saw that one time where we got the wraparound pass down low to Russ, And after that, we haven't really seen any dribble penetration.
And both teams are used to playing against the 2-3, but Mount Vernon's figured out the 2-3 zone a little better against Harlan than Harlan has against Mount Vernon.
And I'm not sure Harlan's as active on their 2-3 zone as Mount Vernon
up
is.
front. We talked about the Frank twins. They're really harassing you out front there with it.
Yeah, and one of the things that Mount Vernon did because Courtney Frank is so aggressive defensively, they changed up the way that they played defense this year. They brought out a little more aggressive up top, and because the two of them play so well together, changed their philosophy of how they wanted to approach things on the defensive side.
And just looking at it, overall 53.6% from the floor for Mount Vernon, including 50% from three-point range. Harlan just 23% shooting, 23% from three-point range too. 2 free throws for Mount Vernon, 0 of 2 for Harlan. Really not many fouls called in that first half. We only had 6 altogether, and nobody really in any foul trouble there. Pretty clean game as far as that goes.
And really it is that second quarter. I mean, only 5 points for Harlan in that second quarter. Mount Vernon shot 67% from the floor in the second quarter. So you have a team that's not hitting shots and a team that is hot from the floor. That gives you that separation.
And that's the way it goes, isn't it? When you're hot, you're hot, as they say. Yeah. You're hitting it, and then that heat turns over to the defense where you turn up the heat, and it just kind of snowballs. So Harlan's got to figure a way to pull out of that here as we start the second half. And it'll be Mount Vernon to start the second half. Courtney Frank right here in front of us. We'll get it going.
Well, and you look at this Mount Vernon lineup, very, very young. A couple of sophomores, a couple of juniors, not a whole lot of seniors on that team. And this Harlan team has a lot of experience. They have a lot of senior leadership on that team, and so you have to believe in the locker room at halftime. Those seniors took over and said, "Hey, let's get it done here. It's a 2-quarter game. We've got to win both quarters." Apparently we had a delay in the T-shirt gun.
Yeah, they didn't get it going. I guess at halftime they forgot about it, so they're going to delay the game to get it started, but here we go.
It looks like somebody on the Harlan bench got a free T-shirt.
Yeah.
That gun didn't go very far.
And I shouldn't say this, but all the games have run pretty well on schedule today.
Yeah.
Now, Randy, our director, is giving me the eye, like, don't jinx it here, but Mount Vernon will start with the ball. Take it inside, now down low, Meester up, no good. And there's a good start for Harlan with the defensive rebound.
That was a set play that they wanted to run to start this half.
Down the lane and blocked by Meester as she blocks Suizo. And here comes Mount Vernon back the other way. Hubert gets it off to Simpson. Now over to Courtney Frank. And Meester from the free throw line, good.
Had the cutters off of Meester, who was at the free throw line, didn't hand it off to any one of the cutters, turned around and just nailed the jumper.
Cut inside and blocked by Meester. She blocks a shot of Munson. Here comes Mount Vernon again. Driving, Huber. Pull up three is good by Simpson. And not the start you want at Harlan, a quick 5-0 run by Mount Vernon.
This is a crucial possession. You got to get some points here.
Three-pointer, no good. Rebound comes off to Frank.
Nobody for Harlan went to the offensive glass that time.
Courtney Frank with it. Over to Simpson. Lob inside Meester, spins around, not there, kicks it out. Frank, two-pointer, and collected on the baseline by Monson, then thrown away. And they just haven't been able to get any fast break going either, have they?
No, they haven't.
Mount Vernon's playing inside to Meester, good look, up and good.
Really nice look and great hands on it, because that was
coming in there.
That was coming in there. That was a fastball that she had thrown at her and able to corral it.
Monson called for the travel.
You know, Harlan just needs to have something happen to get him going in the right direction. A steal, a block, a turnover, something like that, and then go score on that.
Well, there's a little bit of a block. IGHSAU comes down with it. You're right, it's just all momentum and confidence going with the Mustangs right now. Sonderman throws it over. There's a three, no good. Rebound to Frank. Courtney Frank. She'll push it up the floor, all the way up and good.
Well, she had her eyes up immediately when she got that ball, looking to see if she could dish it out to somebody, but nobody came up defensively to stop her. She takes it all the way to the rim.
You're watching the Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
At American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
We're here at the Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau of the Girls Union Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. Dar Danielson, Laura Leonard, Randy at the controls, and just the Mustangs in total control right now, starting the third quarter the same way they started the second, Laura.
Yeah, they did not let up at all, and knew coming into this third quarter they were going to get a pretty good shot from Harlan. They were going to come out, and knowing that they were down, they were not going to give up on anything, but they have stepped up their game on both sides, both offensively and defensively, and really that's a great example right there of what they've done rebounding. They have not let Harlan come to the offensive glass, and they're not going to the offensive glass.
No, Meester with the rebound. They throw it across the lane to her, and that time couldn't quite handle it. Now all the way up, tried to kick it back out. Up top to IGHSAU. She drives the lane, pulls up, no good. Rebound put back, up and almost got it over Meester, but just could not get it to drop.
Yeah, just tough shooting luck.
Frank down again, and this time she draws the charge.
Again, same thing. Defense as in transition, not coming up to stop the ball. Frank takes it all the way in, but that back line of defense was there waiting for her.
Her first team foul on Mount Vernon here in the second half. That one goes off and out. Back to Mount Vernon.
Harlan coming with a little token pressure.
Over to Taylor. Frank inside to Meester. Up and one.
Boy, Meester with the long arms again. Tips it back to herself. Russ was playing on the front side of her. It's a nice lob pass. Tips it to herself. Able to get it and go to the hoop.
Meester to the line to shoot one. She hits it. Lob it down on the baseline. Rust, and that one in and out. Meester gets it.
Try to bring Rust away from where all the action is underneath the hoop. Get her into that short corner. Couldn't connect.
We're now playing with that continuous clock. There's a three. by Huber.
Huber's got a good-looking jump shot. Her mom is Stacy Fries, who played at Iowa State and is an Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Hall of Famer.
That one is off. I remember her very well, part of the big turnaround for the Cyclones. Coach Fenley and got them into the tournament, and she was one of the leaders in that. And then her sister Brenda came back and coached for a little bit. Now she's doing pretty well over Maryland.
Doing all right.
Yeah, not bad there. Has
Right
one national
Maryland.
title and
and in contention again. I mean, he's got another good team at Maryland.
another one of those Iowa basketball families. They're out of Cedar Rapids, I believe,
Yes.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Down the lane, bounce pass, trying to bounce it inside there. It's knocked away. And while we were talking, Brindley Rasmussen came back in for an IMT insurance substitution for Mount Vernon. And now there's a foul. Taylor Frank picks up foul, second team foul. There's a three.
Sonderman knocks down the three-pointer. That is her 100th career three-pointer.
And that's their first points here of the third quarter. Top on the drive, blocked. Nice block by Kensley Bruck, the freshman. 6'2" freshman. Coaches love those 6'2" freshmen because they become 6'2" sophomores, maybe
Right.
bigger if they grow.
And they might, they might become
Might get a
6'3",
little- yeah,
maybe
a little
6'4",
taller.
if you get a little extra growth spurt.
Vernon gets it in. Up top to Taylor Frank. Now they'll work it a little bit. Aaron Jackson across to Courtney Frank, rotated over. Back around. Frank penetrates, nowhere to go, gets it to her sister. She'll drive in, kick it out for three. Good by Aaron Jackson.
Well, this team is just precision, dribble penetration, dribble drive, kick it to the shooters. Shooters are hot tonight. 10 of 19 from three-point range.
And tipped away, but maintained by Harlan. Up top to Monson. She'll put up the three. Good by Monson.
Good job of just dribbling around, getting a little separation. And they need a few more of those.
Huber back up to Frank. They're going to work it down. The shot clock is off. Back to Frank. She'll dribble in. Shot at 5. And up no good. And that'll do it. Third quarter, 58-21. Mount Vernon takes a big lead into the fourth here at the Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Frank, when you think fairway, you think fresh. Is that the winning culture you've tried to create?
Penelope Pineapple, what an unbelievable produce performance. How does your team stay so fresh?
Sun-kissed orange. Is it true Fairway has offered the freshest produce in town since 1938?
What can I say? Our produce is so fresh, we're speechless.
here at the Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau. 58-21, Mount Vernon over Harlan. And barring a huge comeback by Harlan, Mount Vernon will face Esterville Lincoln Central in the semifinals, but you can't say it's over until it's over. They go inside, up, and short. And the rebound pulled down by Brindley Rasmussen for Mount Vernon.
Yeah, the key is to be efficient on offense, score quickly, and then get back and get some stops.
And we're seeing Mount Vernon work the ball. They get it inside, and just Rasmussen couldn't quite come up with it.
It was a nice pass, just maybe a little bit too low for her to handle, but it was a good wraparound.
Now can Harlan convert the turnover? They go in on the block, spin back around, Rust, and has it knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Harlan. The Iowa Bankers Association is proud to sponsor the Parade of Champions of the Iowa Student Achievement Award. Thanks to the Iowa Bankers Association for those sponsorships. Here's Harlan with it. 10 on the shot clock. Squeezo driving in, draws the foul against Brindley Rasmussen.
They have really held Squeezo under wraps. They tried to set her up with a double screen up top, tried to pick off those two defenders on the top of the 2-3 zone so she could dribble around and try to get a good look.
And she gets the first one. And the second. 7 points. Averaging 14 and a half, so her and Rust averaged 14, but they've held them down here today. They've held everybody down.
Yeah, just looking at the stats, they have the shooting percentages aren't good, and they have, because of the defense, it's just so daunting, and the pressure is so much.
And then Mount Vernon shooting 50% from the floor.
Yeah.
And 52% from three-point range.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a good job of working themselves open. Harlan is starting to try to do some things to see if they can get in the gaps of the 2-3 zone, get some screens, get some openings, pop somebody loose to score a couple buckets.
Up over the top on the drive, off no good, and there's going to be a foul on the rebound. I think they called Sweezo with that. Their first team foul. And here comes Mount Vernon again. On the drive is Niehaus. In there, loses it to Rust. Got a few stops here, but you're going to say they haven't been able to. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah,
they haven't been able to convert them, but
they've been able to get the stops. They've turned them over a couple of different times down the floor, of not letting it get good shots or even any shots off, but they just haven't done anything with those turnovers.
Drive in, trying to go underneath the Rust, and it's knocked away.
Just tough. Mount Vernon has so much height in the middle.
Jackson over for three. Good! Peyton Simpson. She knew that when she released it, you could tell.
She did, and just caught it in rhythm, spotted up, knocked it down.
Aaron Jackson on the assist there. Squeezo has it knocked away. Frank will bring it up. Boy, Frank goes from 0 to 40 in like 3.2 seconds, doesn't she?
She does, and she just doesn't quit. I mean, she's fast, and she gets up and down the floor.
And Meester coming back in for Mount Vernon, and back in as Kara Kinkle for Harlan for an IMT insurance substitution. Learn how you can be worry-free at imtims.com. And Meester at the free throw line. Drops it over, now gets it back on the block. Comes inside, brings it down, and one of the few times they've taken away from her today.
Yeah, and she brought the ball down around her waist and put it on the floor. Everybody collapsed and went after it.
3 away, long rebound off the hands of Simpson. And Harlan will get it. But it's also hard, too. You got a continuous clock going to come back if you're not scoring in bunches right away.
Yeah, first order of business is try to get it under the 35 points so you can stop the clock to help you. And if you can't hit those shots, that's going to continue to run.
Here comes Mount Vernon. They'll bring it in. And Simpson drives. It gets blocked from behind by Rust. It'll stay with Mount Vernon. And Rust will come out. And back in is Kinsley Bruck, the 6'2 freshman. There's a three, good. Aaron Jackson hesitated, then decided to shoot it.
And they're going to get a timeout. I think they're going to get the subs
Wholesale
in.
Substitutions, yep. Here now. That's a tough thing sometimes too. The clock's running, is trying to get substitutions in. So let's see. Lucy Wishmeyer is in there. Sophia Meester is in there.
Coach Sanderson is telling the officials, I called a full timeout. I want to take the timeout.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get my subs in, but I want to take the time to talk to them.
Lillian Wishmeyer is in. Now they're going to come over. Yeah, they thought it was just going to switch it, but yeah. And that's good.
Yeah.
Coach them in this situation as they come in, and you know.
Yeah, he got over there and he goes, well, you're my starters. What? I want the others in here. And so turned and told the officials, no, I want to take the full amount of my timeout.
Always coaching, aren't they? Just always working it. And Harlan, this is going to be a game they're going to look back on and, you know, kind of wipe it away. They made it to state tournament, didn't have the best effort, but, you know, there are days when that happens to you.
Yeah, you know, and they're a team that has been to state before. They were Class 4A champs in 2014-2015.
Yeah.
So Harlan has been here, and Coach Clausen, 6th trip to state that he has brought his team since he's been coaching. So they're, you know, they're a veteran team coming down to Wells Fargo. Just this trip, they just didn't have it. They got matched up against a team that is pretty hot right now.
Yeah. Let's see, Olivia Truitt, another one is in there, a freshman for the Mustangs. And we'll try to update you too on the players for Harlan that are in. Looks like Addison Wicks, Kate Kesters, a couple in there. And a travel call. Here comes Lauren Smits for Harlan. Addison Wicks with it up top to Kesters. Rotate it down low, looking for the cutter there, Van Bali. Get it inside, take it away.
That's just been the story of the night.
Yeah. Lillian Wishmeyer takes it away. They try to go in on the block, and Harlan takes it away. And almost. Knocked out. They'll bring it back in. Under a minute to play here. Harlan's going to advance to face Esterville Lincoln Central, the top seed. In on the post, up and good. Nice play off the glass by Kinsley Bruck.
Good job of keeping that ball up. Nice little turn towards the hoop off the glass.
Vernon a three is good by Olivia Truitt. 2 freshmen with back-to-back buckets here.
Hey, you get in the ball game and you want to do something when you're at the state tournament, get your name in the book, not just checking in.
Yeah.
You want to score some points.
And now take it away, and that will about do it here. Mount Vernon with a commanding win here over Harlan.
It really was, and it was that second quarter, really, that did them in. I mean, they only had 5 points in that second quarter, and
outscored them 23-5.
Yeah, Mount Vernon took advantage of that, and then never looked back. And you thought maybe coming out after halftime, Harlan might make some adjustments, and they just could not get anything going against this tough defense of Mount Vernon.
Yeah, and then you mentioned it too. When you have that big a lead, you can afford to be a little more aggressive on defense. They were the 2 Frank twins up top and just didn't give them anything here.
And that's a tough tandem up top.
Each participating player will receive a commemorative basketball provided by the Iowa Farm Bureau, proud title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Presenting awards from the IGHSAU are Gary Ross and Gene Berger. Congratulations to head coach Zach Clausen and the Cyclones from Harlan on an outstanding basketball season. And now, Peyton Simpson from Mount Vernon will help advance her team to the next round on the official bracket at center court. Mount Vernon fans, your team advances to the semifinals and will play Esterville Lincoln Central on Thursday, February 29th at 1:30 p.m. Fans, on behalf of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union.
So Harlan wraps it up at 20-4 on the season. Mount Vernon advances with a 22-3 record to face Esterville Lincoln Central, as Joe Hammond said, 1:30 on Thursday in the semifinal. Final thoughts, Laura?
Well, I think it's going to be a good matchup on Thursday. You've got a team that's a little bit smaller and quicker against a team that's tall, and so I think there's going to be some mismatches that both teams can take advantage of.
Yeah, could ELC crack that 2-3 zone and that defense? And maybe they do it by pushing it up the floor quickly. We'll see.
I think you got to get the running game going, try to beat them down the floor, because you're not going to be able to compete with the size of Mount Vernon if you don't.
As always, a pleasure doing the game with you, Laura.
Blessed.
Thanks
always
a lot.
Is.
And the final here, as you see some of the highlights, 67-25, Mount Vernon advances to the semifinal. Thanks to Randy here, our director today. I'm Dar Danielson. That's going to wrap it up at the Girls State Basketball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau.